All right, so if you shrink away the Capitol building and slice it up with a cake knife, this is kind of what it might look like. It's built like a nuclear reactor with the inner rotunda. It's pressurized to keep all the government inside the building. Now, if there's a pressure leak in the rotunda, then the government will escape to this outer dome, which is a non-pressurized yet secondary containment vessel, which is their second chance to keep things in tap. And up at the top, there's a pressure relief valve with a third dome. So it's a triple redundant system to keep all the government inside the building. And of course, all the ornate uh, embellishments around the outside of the building are to warn the public of how much government is in here and to stay away. So this is the Georgia State Capitol building in Atlanta, Georgia. A whole lot of cool stuff here. Cool pillars and colonnades. And check this out. It's 4 stories tall. Man, you got fun with the drone in here, but seriously, don't even ask. There's my lovely wife, Kim. And my beautiful daughter posing on the stairs. Hello. Now that's a proper staircase to come down for a ball in a fancy dress. But today we're wearing shorts and t-shirt. There's the governor's office, first and second floors. Previous governors. Let's see, who are these people? I'm assuming governors. Richard Bullock. First president and commander-in-chief, 1730. Back when it was a colony. An old painting. It was governors of the colony of Georgia. Huh. John Reed. And I'm guessing this guy's the first governor of the state of Georgia, if the dates are out about right. Flags. And of course, the Coke machine. Ask me about that later. Super cool. I bet you there's one of these on the other side because it's one of the wings. And here we have the only honest person ever in politics, Mr. Jimmy Carter. Much respect, sir. Uh-huh. So.
See, I get to do stuff. See?
Yeah, there's my daughter. But it turns out we've been walking in the north and south atriums, all the offices around them. But the business end of the thing is actually the Senate is on the north and the House of Representatives is on the south. Those are rooms we haven't seen yet. We're going to nose into those. Found the Lieutenant Governor's office. Probably closed. Brick Jones. These guys look like judges, but they're governors. Or governors. Governors. There's a happy-looking gentleman. Looks proud of himself. John Marshall Slayton. Huh. Giving you the business. Okay, here is the main hall under the dome. What do we got here? Oh boy. Olympia style. This does not disappoint. That could be a church. All the way up. Pretty impressive feat of civil engineering. That's probably why all these walls on the bottom are so thick. chunky. Oh, it's probably a 15 to 20-foot floor. Lots of big paintings. Here's some revolutionary folk. Archibald Bullock, James Edward Oglethorpe, Benjamin Hawkins, Abraham Baldwin. Looks like he has hair to me. William the Few. There was only one of him. Walton, guy who dug the pond. And Gwinnett. Oh, look. Here's Mr. Hall, the guy who invented the larger room. This guy's got some eyeballs on him. Benjamin Harvey Hill. Ah, here we go. One of my own, John Clark, 1765 to 1832, governor, 1819 to 1823. Hard to imagine 100 years ago. And he looks so luminous. How? Actually, that's just a reflection. Let's see if we can get the glare off. There we go. Yep. Looks just like the spitting image of himself. Now here is the Georgia State House of Representatives, and down there on the floor is where all the representatives meet to generate all the hot air that gets collected at the top. It helps keep this building from sinking into the sand. And look, they have big screens so they can watch the game, and a balcony so we can all watch them generate all that hot air. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, look at that chandelier. Boy, I hope that doesn't catch fire in all the hot air. It always amused me that the representatives we send to government, big high suit wearing folks, usually rich, millionaires and whatnot, who have the time to come in down here and mess around with all this stuff. And we give them essentially 1940s school desks. And that's it. Kind of amusing. But that's probably, again, why they're not here and they're doing their work elsewhere, because they just don't have room. All right, so on the other side of the building, we have the Senate chambers. Of course, the Senate is smaller, but they get a copy machine because nothing says government like redundancy. And again, this chamber is designed to capture all that hot air, collect it at the top. And of course, as mentioned earlier, we have the Capitol Dome in the middle of the building, which is the pressurized containment vessel to keep all the government inside. And should you want to be a tourist, they will walk you out of this room here with a balcony, which is, because they don't want to clean it. Cool chandelier, bro, but the TV to watch the game on is pretty small. Can't imagine they throw too big of parties in here. They always call the legislature in charge the speaker, because politicians like to talk. Here's the office. Need official snacks? Well, here you go. And of course, it's all empty. Here's a cool flow chart on how the government ingests good ideas and digests them and then puts out, well, let's just say, end product. In the middle of this fourth floor Georgia Atlanta State Capitol Museum, on the history of the place, we have an exhibit of, who really runs the place. There you go. So as it turns out, this entire state capitol building is actually a Star Trek spaceship. And you can tell because the holodeck does have a few extra panels showing. Yeah, about that. There's your Jeffries tube somewhere around here. Straight top shot through the atrium, second floors. This is the museum floor. On the fourth floor, of course, there's still offices around, but all the hallways taken up by display cases, and phone addicted children. Oh, look, pheasant under glass. I mean, bald eagles. Taxidermy. Your tax dollars at work. All right, in this case, we have all the details you need to cheat on your fifth grade Georgia State social studies quiz. So you've got the mammal, the fish, the fruit, the flower, the bird, the stone, the music, the song, all in one convenient place. There's your cheat sheet, kids. So apparently the Native Americans in this region were ninjas because they used all the invisible equipment. So there's how they used to throw sticks with other sticks over here, and their invisible pottery, and their invisible canoe paddles, and grinding basins, and invisible chisels, and awls, and tools. So yeah, ninjas got nothing on these guys. Again, look at all this invisible pottery. I mean, that's super advanced. Definitely a modern technological society existed here before we got here, because we have still yet to crack the code of invisibility. But these objects have it down pat. So before the natives figured out invisibility, the animals before them used rocks, and were rocks apparently. Lots of cool rocks. Oh, look, they even had stone elephants and horses, and the whole place was inhabited by statuary. So if you look at the rocks, it looks like the state was inhabited by them before any other civilization. There were rocks. Lots of cool different kinds of rocks. You can see their cultural diversity in stones. I'm sure they had a hierarchical society. Some would say they were a bit sedimentary, but can't believe everything you see in the news. Oh, check it out. If you want to build a pyramid, come to Georgia. We got marble. And of course, they had metal back in the day. So music was pretty good. And some rocks even aspired to become Capitol buildings. Quite the civilization existed here before anybody else's.
Skin?
Yeah.
How did they catch a squirrel, a bird, a bear, a thing?
Oh, look. They even skinned a drone.
I don't think is a skin of the no.
Oh, yeah, that's the skin. The guts are gone. It's been stuffed. All right, lovely. Attracts kids and moths. Oh, and also they grow plastic vegetables here, plastic plants. Pretty cool. Oh, check it out. Turpentine production in the state of Georgia is done by these little tiny doll people and these little tiny tree twigs. And looks like they're making scars and harvesting the tree sap from little tiny twigs in a wooden case in the Capitol building. Isn't that convenient? And here we have a diorama representing how little itty bitty tiny peaches are packed in Georgia by these little tiny people in dollhouses from these little tiny twig trees in the back. It's kind of cool, huh? And apparently in Georgia, they have a very strong program for training up new acolytes into the cult of government, training kids to get involved and put on suits and ties and come in and do all the ceremonies. Pretty cool. So in Bitcoin, we have this thing called colored coins, which means we put data into particular transactions that mark certain Bitcoin with certain attributes. So not all Bitcoin are the same. And apparently that's an old system going back to where they used to count heads, and some heads were not counted as wholes. So fractional voting systems. So apparently this is the history of sorting that out and figuring out, well, one person's got one noggin, deserves one vote. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me. Here's a whole cabinet displaying factoids about the separation of church and state, which sounds like a great idea to me. We wouldn't want the state to corrupt the church, after all. Church needs to remain holy. And the state needs to do its business. Oh, there's a copy of the Bible sitting right there. Let's go see what page it's open to. Exodus. Oh, my goodness. Exodus chapter 20. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ooh, yeah, that's very dangerous for the state to have. The whole idea of, people doing things righteously by God's law. Bad idea. I would probably turn the page if I were them. Here's a sample ballot box. Apparently, hook up the funnel and shove it all into this Ben Hill County box. Well, there's security theater, there's government theater, and then there's protest theater. And this cabinet is dedicated to the intersection of the latter two. So if I'm reading all this right, if you are elected and in power, you get to be inside the building with the air conditioning. If you've got other things to say that they're not doing and want to protest, you get to, yell out on the lawn. Here's a cabinet talking about how they're going to relabel bribery as lobbying. Cool. So this case talks about different branches of the Georgia government, starting with the governor, who is apparently required to play football without a helmet, and that explains a lot. And then there's legislation and the commander-in-chief, who apparently, according to the pictures, if you screw up, they put in front of a firing squad. And the chief politician waves signs around. I think those are the people out on the lawn. And the chief of state looks like he gets to travel to Rome and look at all the museums. Interesting stuff. So in Florida and Alabama, where we just came from, there's a bunch of ladies in the line of succession of governors of the state. But in Georgia, as this little ticker tape progression shows, it's a bunch of rich old white guys. I mean, seriously. That's not an exaggeration. So this case is a step-by-step instructions on how to cheat your way to the top, how to win friends and influence people wholesale. Oh, look, here's a flowchart of how legal cases get done in Georgia. Yeesh. And the Medfield Capitol? Is that a castle? And apparently you gotta be a grumpy-looking old guy to be a court judge. Pens. Boy, these legal folks. Huh. I could say a lot more about probably get in trouble. So, like all molds, government tends to grow as long as resources are available. And this is, a case going over from simple to, what we have now. I like this quote by Jimmy Carter. Every time I open the closet door of my office, I fear a new state agency will fall out. Probably true. So the government grows in real estate as well, just like a bacteria or a virus to consume all available nearby resources within reach. And as you can see, it just keeps getting messier. Cool old blueprints. How it used to be and how you're trying to restore it. Oh, cool. I just noticed the elevators have this really neat light for indicating which floor they're on. That's very cool. Old school. What in the... I have no idea what this is. And here is our daughter talking on her cell phone in a telephone booth. A legit wood telephone booth. My goodness, this thing is beautiful. That would seriously make a really cool office. Tiny, but cool. You could carry one of these in the back of an RV. That'd be about right. But, now she knows what it's like to talk on a telephone in a telephone booth. And hello from inside an actual telephone booth. Check this out. Well, the telephone is missing. And there's an operator in-house, or there used to be. And there's the doors. Ah, so cool. It's even got the light up top. ventilator. Oh, wait, I wonder if we can turn this on. Still works. No, there's nothing going on in there. But man, it is clean. It is immaculate. Creaks and groans like a real wood piece of furniture. Well, actually, this is metal. But wow, this takes me back. Love it. Want one of these. Oh, they tore one out with an actual telephone in it. Oh, how much they want for this. That's beautiful. Stick that in my closet. That'll be your office. Alrighty, so this is the Senate committee room. So this is where the Senate takes people in and tortures them. I mean, talks to them or whatever. Office 126 in the basement. You know, a few documents. This is not an exit. It's locked. Huh.